Alright guys, so welcome into the comic section of haul video number 89. And the first things I want to start off here with are stuff that I got at Target. So as I might have mentioned earlier, Target is starting to sell some manga in stores, which I think they've done for a while, but I just never really paid attention, I guess. And they've been doing sales. I think they still have a sale going on for buy two, get one free, but haven't found anything that I really need for my collection with that sale. So we'll start with the first two books I bought here though. I was able to pick up volumes 2 and 3 of One Punch Man. So I think in a couple haul videos ago, I talked about buying the first volume of this series. So ended up getting the other two. They were 20% off, so I figured I'd jump on them. You can see here, this is volume 2, and then you can see volume 3. So this really has prompted me kind of to go back and finish my readathon of the Pokemon manga, Pokemon Adventures manga that I have. So maybe I'll switch to that. I just finished up reading something, so I'll have to see what I want to read next. But yeah, very excited to get volumes 2 and 3 of this series. And you can see here, nice spines. This series is definitely getting up there in terms of volumes. There's probably like 30 or 40 plus, maybe more than that probably. Anyways, I'll be very excited to read all that once I kind of get a good head start there. The next two books here I bought were a series that I found at a Books A Million at Kansas City, Missouri, when I went there to visit for work, and was able to find these for a decent price. Each one was about $8, so I thought that was a good deal. And that is Descender by Jeff Lemire, volumes 1 and 2. So this collects issues, I don't know what issues volume 1 collects, maybe 1 through 6, I think. Let's see. Yeah, Descender 1 through 6. And then this collects issues, let's see, 7 through 11. So I think there's only 2 more volumes of this that I have to collect to have the whole series. And then there's also Ascender or Ascender. I'm not sure which one comes first. I'm assuming Ascender comes first, but this one I feel like might be the first one to come first, but we'll see. Anyways, very excited to get this. I'm a huge fan of Jeff Lemire. You know, obviously I've read Essex County. I've read his Hawkeye run, which I thought was not too bad. Obviously it's not as good as Matt Fractions, but it wasn't really bad. And I have read a little bit of his Family Tree stuff. I know a Sweet Tooth Compendium just came out. I do plan to get that at some point, but just have not found a good price for it yet online. So, but yeah, very excited to read this. I've heard a lot about this series from some of my friends, so we'll be very excited to kind of read that and see how it is. The next book I bought here, I was kind of a little bit on a Black Widow kick recently. I've read some of the earlier 2000 stuff, which actually is the movie pulls a lot of source material from those comics. I feel like there's the whole Yelena, Belova, her character I think first appears in that, but I could be wrong. And then there's also the whole pheromone kind of subplot within the movie that is also addressed in some of those earlier runs of Black Widow from the 2000s. So I ended up picking up this one because I realized I didn't have this in my collection, and that is Black Widow Widowmaker. So this collects Black Widow Deadly Origin numbers 1 through 4, Black Widow the 2010 series numbers 1 through 8, Widowmaker numbers 1 through 4, Fear Itself, Black Widow Saga, and material from Enter the Heroic Age and Iron Man Kiss and Kill, which I can't remember if I read Kiss or Kill or not. Maybe I have, but I don't know. You can see here though, the spine or the cover is a little bit dinged. You can see here the cover is a little dinged there, but not too bad. You can see on the front here we got Winter Soldier and Wolverine as well. So I forgot to show art from the other comics. I apologize, but you can see here kind of what that looks like. So very excited. This was definitely a chunk of Black Widow that I was not intending to collect, and this is actually the last piece of Black Widow that I think I have to read in my collection. I've read pretty much everything else Black Widow related in my collection. I actually just got done reading the Coldest War Epic Collection, which had a bunch of stuff from like the 80s through the 90s. So kind of just filler stuff, some Marvel graphic novels, which I thought were really good, but definitely will be reading this soon at some point. I am really on a binge with reading some Black Widow stuff, so very excited. You can see here the spine, very much in the same color palette as a lot of the other Black Widow collections here, so will look very nice on the shelf too, for anyone out there who cares about that. All right, so the next book I got here, and I didn't take the label off, but who cares? So I've heard a lot of rumors about Ollie's kind of getting some new stock and pushing out some stuff. Some people have been fortunate enough to find some Claremont and Lee omnibus for pretty heavy discounts, both volumes there. So if you're one of those people who have been able to find that, kudos to you. There's been a lot of good stuff that has came out, some epics that are, I guess, being pushed out into the aftermarket here for Ollie's. One of these was one that I have already read and I was intending to collect because the first time I read through this whole series, I read through most of it in black and white. So obviously it's one of my favorite characters. So I wanted to collect it in color, but this book sadly went out of print before I had a chance to buy it, and was a little triggered. And as I went back to Ollie's near my parents' house a weekend ago, I was able to find it for $12, and that is the Iron Man, The Man Who Killed Tony Stark Epic Collection. So very nice. This collects issues 2 through 24 of the Iron Man series. So very, very early Iron Man. This is 68 to 70. Definitely not the most acclaimed era for Iron Man, I would say, but this does have one of the most famous storylines of early Iron Man lore, and that is the beginning of the end. I think has parts of it, maybe the beginning of it. I think the actual storyline runs, oh no, it should have the whole thing. I think it's like 17 through 23. But essentially what that is Iron Man fights a LMD of his armor. So obviously that plot has been revisited a lot of times throughout Iron Man's history, but this was the first time it was done. And some great creators on here. You have Archie Goodwin and George Tuska. So very much continuing the legacy of Gene Colan and Don Heck, you know, what they kind of developed with this character during the Tales of Suspense era. But yeah, very cool to see this in color, honestly. Like I said, the first time I've ever read this was in black and white, so a lot of this pops to me and I just love it. So hopefully one day I can reread this in color and enjoy it. But this is the 3rd volume of Iron Man Epic Collection. So very nice to get that. And now I guess I have an excuse to go out and get some of the earlier volumes now since I have that one. And I would say probably the most satisfying buy here to get of this haul for my comics is this book right here, which again I found at Ollie's for $12, and had it on my IST wish list for a while. Never got around to picking it up, and then it went out of print, and now it's out of stock, and it's really expensive online. And with the 3rd volume going on a very high discount on IST, I was like, dang it, I wish I would have bought that 2nd volume. And was able to find it at this Ollie's for a good price. So again, just goes to show you that sometimes waiting does help. Obviously, my case is not really the most accurate because I waited until it went out of stock. But anyways, that book is volume 2 of the Fantastic Four by Jonathan Hickman. So very acclaimed run for the Fantastic Four. Obviously, it's Jonathan Hickman. So this collects issues 579 through 588 and FF numbers 1 through 5. So you can see here the back. We can open up some stuff here in the book itself. So very excited to get this. I actually did go ahead and order volume 3 of the Fantastic Four by Jonathan Hickman. It's on sale currently at the recording of this video for 65% off on IST. So that brings it actually around to this price that I paid for this. So jumped on it, and hopefully I can get all 3 of these collected. I don't think there's more volumes of this coming out. I think it might just be 3, but I could be wrong. But anyways, now I'm fully caught up, and I'm very excited to sit down and read this run. Obviously, you can see behind me, my plan with Fantastic Four is to read it from the beginning with Lee and Kirby, and then John Byrne and Roger Stern, I think, comes after that. I don't intend on collecting like all the Fantastic Four stuff, just like the hits really, and then Ringo, and then the Hickman stuff. So more to come on that. I'm planning a readathon for Fantastic Four. Just want to make sure I have everything before I start that. So, but yeah, guys, that is my comics. Very excited. Like I said, you know, definitely check out your local Ollie's. If you haven't already. They definitely are getting some new stock, so it might be worth taking a look and seeing if there's anything you need for your collection. Excuse me. But yeah, that is all I have for comics. So thanks for watching this part of the video.